You're not lost because your life is falling apart. You're lost because everything looks fine, but nothing feels right. And that's what makes it confusing. Because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're moving forward. You're making progress. You're handling responsibilities. From the outside, it looks like you're on track. People would even say you're doing well, but internally, something feels off, and you can't explain it clearly. It's not a crisis. It's not a major problem. It's just this quiet feeling that something is missing. Like you're present, but not fully there. And the more you try to ignore it, the more it stays. Because this isn't about what's happening around you. It's about what's happening inside you. And this is where most people make the wrong assumption. They think the problem is their life. But what if the problem is not your life, but how you're experiencing it? Now stay with me here, because this is where most people misunderstand what they're actually feeling. Feeling lost doesn't always mean you don't have direction. It doesn't mean you don't know what to do. Sometimes it means you've been doing the right things for so long that you've stopped checking if they still feel right for you. You follow routines, you follow expectations, you follow what makes sense, and at some point, that becomes your default way of living. You stop questioning it, you stop reflecting on it, you just continue. And that continuation feels stable on the surface, but empty underneath. And that emptiness doesn't come from lack of progress, it comes from lack of connection. Because you're moving, but you're not connected to what you're doing anymore. Think about this for a second. Imagine waking up every day and moving through your routine automatically. Your alarm goes off, you get up. You go through the same sequence of actions. You check your phone, you prepare for the day. You move through tasks that you already know how to do. Everything works, everything functions, but there's no depth in it, no awareness, no real presence, just movement. And at first, it feels normal, because it is normal. But over time, something subtle begins to shift. You start to feel like you're watching your life instead of living it, like you're participating, but not fully there. And that feeling is hard to explain, but it's very real. And that's what most people describe as being lost. And this is the part that changes everything once you see it clearly. You're not lost because you don't have direction. You're lost because you're disconnected from yourself. You're moving, but not aligned. You're progressing, but not engaged. And that creates a gap between what you're doing and how you feel about it. And that gap grows over time if nothing interrupts it. Because the more you continue without awareness, the more your actions become automatic. And the more automatic they become, the less connected you feel to them. And that's where confusion comes from. Not from lack of clarity, but from lack of connection. Now this is where your brain begins to play a role in a way you don't immediately notice, because your mind is built for efficiency. It learns patterns, it repeats them, it turns actions into habits so you don't have to think about them every time. And that's useful. It helps you function, but it also creates a problem, because once something becomes automatic, your awareness drops. You stop paying attention, you stop questioning, you stop engaging. And over time, your entire life can run on autopilot, not because you chose it, but because your brain optimized for it. And autopilot is efficient, but it's not conscious. It doesn't check if something still makes sense, it just continues. Now stay with me, because this is where most people go in the wrong direction without realizing it. When they feel lost, they try to fix it externally. They think they need a new direction, a new goal, a new environment. Something to shake things up, and sometimes that works temporarily. It creates a sense of movement, a sense of change. But it doesn't solve the root problem, because the feeling is not coming from your situation, it's coming from your disconnection. Let me make this real. Think about someone who decides to change everything. They leave their job, they start something new, they move to a different environment. And for a while it feels different, it feels refreshing, it feels like they finally broke out of something. But then something unexpected happens. The same feeling starts to return. Not immediately, but gradually. That quiet sense that something is still off. And that's when it becomes clear. The change didn't fix it. It only distracted from it for a while. Now this is where the loop becomes visible. You feel disconnected, you try to fix it externally, it works temporarily. Then the feeling returns, and you repeat the cycle over and over again, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're solving the wrong problem. You're trying to fix a connection issue with external change, and that never lasts. So now the question changes. Instead of asking, what do I need to change in my life? You start asking, what is happening inside me that makes this feel this way? And that question brings your attention back to where the real shift needs to happen. So this is where the shift actually begins, but not in the way most people expect it to. It doesn't begin with a big decision. It doesn't begin with a dramatic life change. It begins with something much smaller and much harder: awareness. The ability to notice what's happening inside you without immediately trying to change it, because most of your life right now is happening automatically. You move from one task to another, one thought to another, one reaction to another. And you rarely stop long enough to observe what's actually driving those movements. And because you don't observe it, you don't question it. And because you don't question it, it continues. So the first step is not to fix anything, it's to see it clearly. To catch yourself in the middle of autopilot, to notice when you're moving without presence. And that moment of noticing is where everything begins to shift. And this is where something simple becomes powerful. You pause, not for long, not in a forced way, but intentionally. You interrupt the automatic flow of your day, even for a few seconds, and you bring your attention back to yourself. And at first, this feels uncomfortable, because you're not used to it. You're used to movement. You're used to doing. You're used to filling every gap with something, but when you pause, there's nothing to hide behind. No distraction, no momentum, just you, and whatever is there. And for most people, that's exactly what they've been avoiding. Because in that space, you start to feel what's actually happening underneath everything else. Now this is where most people turn away again, even if they don't realize it consciously. Because stillness feels unfamiliar, it feels unproductive, it feels like something is wrong. Your mind starts searching for something to do, something to fix, something to focus on. And that urge is strong, because your system has been trained to move constantly, to avoid stillness, to escape quiet. But that urge is not random. It's a pattern. It's the same pattern that's been keeping you disconnected. And if you follow it again, nothing changes. But if you stay, even for a little longer than feels comfortable, something begins to reveal itself. Because when you stay with that moment, without reacting, without escaping, you begin to reconnect with your own experience. You start to notice things you've been ignoring, how you actually feel, what feels right, and what doesn't. Where your energy goes, and where it drops. And this awareness is not dramatic. It doesn't feel like a breakthrough. It feels subtle, quiet, but it's real, and it's powerful. Because now, you're no longer just moving through your life. You're experiencing it. You're present in it. And that presence changes everything. Because once you can feel what's real, your actions begin to adjust naturally. And this is where direction begins to return, not as something you force, but something that becomes clear over time. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to rebuild your entire life. You simply stop continuing what doesn't connect. You start making small adjustments, subtle shifts. You choose differently, not based on what you think you should do, but based on what feels aligned with you. And those small choices begin to reshape your path. Not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. And over time, that consistency creates clarity. Not because you figured everything out, but because you started listening to yourself again. And this is where everything comes together in a way that most people don't expect. You realize that you were never truly lost. You were just disconnected from your awareness, from your presence, from your own experience. And once that connection starts to return, things begin to make sense again. Not perfectly, not all at once, but enough to move forward with clarity. And that changes how you see everything. You stop chasing direction and start building connection. You stop forcing answers and start allowing them to emerge. You stop trying to become someone else and start returning to yourself. And when that happens, something shifts deeply. Life doesn't suddenly become easier, but it becomes real. It becomes something you are fully present in. And that is the difference. Because once you are present, you are no longer lost. And that is where your happiness code begins.